partly occasioned because of the 2022 succession conversation, and there have been different approaches to that succession conversation. There are people who, in my view, have played up people's emotions against the president so that they can become popular, and taken advantage of the hard economic times at the moment to use that as a platform to get themselves ahead. That's my view. However, we are working on managing the situation. I think luckily there's still a long way to 2022, and between now and then I'm sure most of the issues that are of concern to people of Mount Kenya will be addressed, because many of them are being addressed, like the issues of coffee. And some of us as governors are also have put mechanisms to ensure that our people's lives are bettered, and therefore the hard economic times is not as felt. That's one step, and then the second step is having political conversations that are more educative and more enlightening, especially around the current BBI engagement, to rally the Mount Kenya team together. Eventually, we'll come together. Mount Kenya is always like that. We are very vibrant when it comes to politics. We talk a lot, we have views, we air them. But when push comes to shove at the end of it all, we will speak in one voice come 2022. Yeah, and we will play our part as leaders to ensure that we don't divide our people. I will play my part to ensure that we don't. One of my views is that Uhuru is not leaving. Well, he's going to leave his political position, but he will not leave the leadership position. So there's no vacuum in terms of leadership. That's a difference. I mean, his term is coming to an end as the president. It does not mean that he will not be a leader of the Mount Kenya region. Yeah. Raila Odinga is still the leader of his troops. He doesn't have a political office. So in my view, there is no vacuum in terms of the word kingship, so to speak. Yeah. However, Mount Kenya will need to be represented at the table in terms of political leadership and governance of this country. And that is a space that I would pursue to play a part. My relationship with Odinga was not good because of the accusations that he made against me with regards to NYS and the political damage that he made to my reputation, and that was not something that I take lightly. However, because of the handshake, it was in the best interest of the country to put not just my personal views, but the interests of the country at heart, and therefore I let that issue pass. But we settled it. We had a conversation about it, and I believe now he's more aware of the facts than he was then. You know, in 2015, a lot of this conversation was politically driven, and they were just talking, you know, because he had people had scores to settle. But the approach that the corruption has taken now is one of facts and evidence, and I think now, if you listen, there isn't that much political noise, and I think it's a lesson we've all learned as a country. There are ideas about how to create jobs. As you know, I'm an economist. There are there, and I'm sure whichever party I will be running with in 2022, there will be very clear demonstration of how we'll create jobs, because jobs can be created. When I was in Treasury, I was the head of the economic stimulus program. I don't know whether you know that. Yeah. That turned around. I designed that, and it turned around the economy of this country from a negative, I think, 1.8% to 6% in 1 year, 2009, 2010. And the ideas that people can implement and can be implemented that can turn the economy around. If I was president, I would look very critically at a stimulus program that can revamp the economy and jumpstart it, because it's quite slow, so that now it can move and propel itself to a natural job creation and wealth creation. There are things that can be done, but I wouldn't say them here. There are things that can be done. So just saying economic stimulus program, there are various options to do it, and we would look at those approaches. I think there have been challenges in terms of the economic management of the country, by the Treasury especially. I think they have not, I think the Treasury was not managing the economy properly. They were not speaking the truth when they should have. When they were supposed to rationalize programs, they did not. Where they were supposed to have reduced debt, they didn't. So I think I blame a lot of it on the advisory from the Treasury, because they should have seen it. There was witch hunt. That is obvious. There was witch hunt. Let me just give you an example. That NYS story pushing my name had 26 headlines, Nation only. Even before I count this time, 26. NYS 2 did not get to 9 headlines. Kimwarere in a row was 3 headlines. Until today, we count them, by the way, and I keep a record because I'm writing a book about it. We're comparing. So what does that tell you? It was being driven. We know who was driving it. We know how much money was spent. And it was very unfortunate, because it was just a lot of propaganda and stories of who is associated with who, but there's no tangible. Today, when you hear DPPs talking about corrupt, they tell you, they show you, they track and they show you the actual evidence. It's not about whether you looked at Oliver and thought this guy looks like he's corrupt, and then so therefore I don't like him and I push a political agenda. So yes, there was witch hunt. Of course, because of that, the program didn't achieve the objectives, the ultimate objectives. Should have run for 5 years. It slowed down. Right now, it doesn't have an impact. But at that point, it did have an impact. And we saw lives transformed in Kibera at the time. I wish it could have done more, but it didn't. So I left. 2 years after I left, there was another major scandal, 10 billion shillings. Clearly, the systems were still the same way, and the people who had misappropriated those funds before were left in government and continued, isn't it? So it's unfortunate that such a wonderful program can be misused. It could have really transformed this country, but maybe another time.